Sports Coverage presents Speed World. The 1993 Camel Supercross Series was supposed to belong to number 8, Damon Bradshaw, winner of a record 9 races last year. Well, Bradshaw got off to a rather bad start in the series opener, and number 5, Mike Larocco, scored the win. It was his second straight in Orlando. A week later in Houston, Texas, Bradshaw came back and looked like the man on the mission we all expected to charge to the championship, challenged only by last year's champion Jeff Stanton. But here's the big surprise. It's Stanton's teammate, the rookie, Jeremy McGrath, who has emerged as the superstar of Supercross 93. He won and won again, and then made it 3 in a row, and suddenly McGrath is the dominant force in America's most popular motorcycle series. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Supercross. I'm Dave Despain with Larry Myers. We return to the state of Florida, where 5 weeks ago, this campaign kicked off over in Orlando. I don't think any of us expected what we've seen in the ensuing 5 weeks.
Now, I would have to agree to that. What we expected to see was a knockdown, drag-out brawl, a Pier 6 brawl between Damon Bradshaw and Jeff Stanton. Same two guys that took it to the wire last year. Hasn't happened. An upstart rookie, Jeremy McGrath from Murrieta, California, has now won 3 in a row. He has control of the points lead. Bradshaw's mystified. Stanton's mystified. We've asked them all of the questions. They keep saying, I'm not worried. We're going to come on strong any day now, but it ain't happening. McGrath is there.
Well, the genius behind this, of course, is Dave Arnold. He's the team manager for Team Honda, and we're going to put the question to him as we go to the floor of the stadium with one of our 2 pit reporters tonight, Bob Hurricane Hanna.
Thanks, Dave. With me is Dave Arnold, the man who does the hiring and firing at Team Honda. Dave, are you very surprised at Jeremy McGrath's immediate success?
We're all a bit surprised here and very pleased at American Honda. We knew there'd be a learning curve for Jeremy McGrath in the 250 class, coming off of 2 125 championships. But having him whip off 3 straight main events in a row and getting into the series points lead is more than we expected. Yeah, we're surprised and very pleased.
I bet. How about the lack of success on Jeff Stanton's part?
Jeff has normally started seasons off relatively conservative. He was 25 points behind this time last year, and he's only 15 now, so he usually gets tough right around Daytona time, and the tracks are rougher and sandier, and I look for him to be doing better, you know, over the next 3 weeks, and I'm sure that Jeff will be in there at the end, along with Jeremy for this championship race.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Standing by is Art Ekman with 2 team managers that both feel their riders are going to reign all over Team Honda's parade.
Thank you, Bob. With us, 2 team managers who would love to see their guy on the victory stand. Roy Turner of Team Kawasaki. Roy, Mike Kudrowski, your top man now that Mike Larocco is down. He's second in the points, but can't quite get over the hump and get that first victory.
Yeah, it's been a pretty elusive victory, and I think he's looking forward to it, but he's had a lot of bad starts this year. I know he's looking forward to that win, and I think basically it's just going to take a good start to put him up front at the finish. It's hard to come from an 18th or a 20th place start and run up front and win, but he's been trying, and he's hoping for his win real soon.
Keith McCarty of Team Yamaha. Damon Bradshaw, great year last year, just couldn't quite pull off the title, but it looks like to me he's a little bit more conservative.
Yeah, you're right, Art. Damon started out or won 9 events last year and still came up short in the championship, but I think this year his plan was to start off a little bit slower, be consistent, and about the halfway point, turn it loose and see what he can do towards the end.
I think both these team managers would love to see their guy get out of the gate a lot better in tonight's race. It'll be interesting to see if they can put some heat on the front runners. Dave?
3 times this man has been the front runner when it mattered. Jeff Stanton, the series champ, prepares for action. We'll be right back. We're back in Tampa to congratulate Larry Brooks, proud father of twins born this week. Now it's time for Dad to go to work and earn some diaper money here as we get set for the qualifying heat races. Take a quick look at the racetrack diagram, Larry.
Dirt was wet when they brought it in. It's going to be a slippery track, and it's going to get very, very hard tonight.
The tricky part, of course, is the start. Bob Hanna is standing by down at the gates.
everybody on the start line of a Supercross main event, what is the one most important thing about winning that race? He's going to tell you that's the hole shot. And that means getting around that first corner in the lead. And that all starts right here at the starting gate. Now, since I've never been one known for my good starts, we're going to go to the pits and talk to some of the riders who are.
It's just a lot of concentration, you know, focusing on the starting gate, thinking about what's getting ready to happen as far as the gate's falling, you know, being in the right place on the power, slipping the clutch the right way, using the clutch the right way, being in the right position on the seat. So there's a lot of different things. You know, everybody has their different secrets. And right now, whatever I've been doing has not been working. So I'm trying to change up and find that method right now.
You know, a lot of guys like to picture the first turn, you know, and picture themselves leading in the first turn. I'm not that, you know, I don't believe in that kind of stuff. So, you know, I'm just up there waiting for the gate. You know, I don't think of nothing special. I just, you know, I do a little prayer, pray that I'm safe. That's all that matters to me.
These guys come looking for the start in the first of the qualifying heat races. Number 3, Mike Kudrowski. Number 12, Jeff Matasevich. Used to be teammates, now riding for separate outfits. Here's the way it works. The top 4 riders come out of each of the heat races and move straight to the main event. The non-qualifiers go to the semis, and the top 5 from there make the feature. The last chance qualifier moves up 2. That gives us 20 riders in the championship feature here this evening, which will go 20 laps for the gold, the glory, and perhaps most importantly, the Camel Supercross points. Let's take a look at the highlights of the first qualifying heat race here in Tampa. The charge to turn number 1, and the guy who gets out quick is Brian McElroy. Unfortunately, number 53 doesn't stay out front very long. And look at the tangle in the back. It's the worst thing in the world is to be the 20th guy into the first turn.
Either that or be on the outside, so the guys on the inside kind of squeeze you out. Up front, the other end of the racetrack, it's Mike Kudrowski, rider number 3. He's being chased by rider number 21, Steve Lamson. He's the newest addition to the Honda factory effort. But this one is going to be all Kudrowski. Lamson's going to find it interesting, though. He has company in the person of Damon Bradshaw moving up.
Number 8, Bradshaw, didn't get a great start. You heard Roy Turner talk earlier about the fact that Kudrowski's had trouble with his starts. He nailed this one. Number 3 jumped out front, ran away. Bradshaw comes up to put the pressure on Lamson. Here is the veteran against the youngster. On paper, Bradshaw ought to be able to take the measure of the kid.
What I measure things by was your performance just a second ago when you got out of the Turner thing. That was a very good line. Bradshaw does just exactly that over a rough section of racetrack that included a couple of loops and a big jump. He takes over the number 2 position. Now he's going to try to close the gap on Kudrowski, and toward the end of the race he did that.
Indeed, this might have been a spectacular finish had it not been for one of the ongoing problems for Supercross fast guys, and that's the Supercross guys who aren't quite so fast. Traffic becomes a difficulty here for Damon Bradshaw as he gets hung up behind a slower rider and surrenders an insurmountable margin to Kudrowski. Meanwhile, Brian Swink of Team Suzuki has an even bigger problem. A locked-up motor on number 19 means he'll have to ride the semi, assuming they can get that fixed in time.
Mike Kudrowski, virtually uncontested at the finish line, takes the checkered flag with a one-handed pump job. He's never won a Supercross main event. Maybe tonight, Kudrowski, Bradshaw, Lamson, and Matasevich taking those first positions will be his night.
Michael, it's not like you to get that hole shot. You got out front. You looked like you relaxed. Did you know Bradshaw was coming on that hard in the end?
Yeah, I kind of, you know, could hear him behind me. I didn't want to look back, but I knew it was probably him. And I just rode a good race. You know, it's really slick out there, and you can't get excited and make mistakes. And I think a couple laps before the end, he made a mistake and lost a little bit of ground on me. But I feel good, and I've been practicing starts all week, so hopefully I'll get a good start in the main.
Good luck in the main, Mike.
Thank you.
There has been a lot of talk about starts tonight. This start, heat race number 2, proved fairly unfortunate for a man making his first start of the season in the 250 class. We're talking about Phil Lawrence, West Coast kid, in fact, leader of the Western Regional Championship point standings, and he's got a great start right up until the moment when Michael Craig ran into him and knocked him into the nickel.
He said, "You're a football and I'm a foot." Ooh, that was worth 3 points.
Into the lead goes Jeremy Buell, number 48, and he he had to stand the gaff here as some of the biggest names in the business came after him. How about these two? Side by side, the Honda teammates, Jeff Stanton and Jeremy McGrath. And Craig, number 24, it's the second place man. They ran handlebar to handlebar for a good ways here, but when it counted,
I don't know why Jeremy McGrath pulled that one out. He actually had to slow to move around the backside of Jeff Stanton, change lines, and still made the pass. I rather think Stanton had bobbled and missed a shift. Up front, meanwhile, Michael Craig taking advantage of Jeremy Buell's miscue. He takes over the number 1 spot. Buell hanging on to second, but he's not going to hold that position long.
Craig has become a pretty salty dog here in the last few weeks. A weekly contender for top 5 honors. And in this qualifying heat race, he showed great speed as Buell held him up a little bit behind him. Craig tried to split. McGrath working his way through the traffic nicely, getting around Stanton, then picking off Buell in the battle of the Jeremys and heading after the leader. Stanton lurking back there in 4th spot, kind of a microcosm of his season today.
That's the way it's been. The only thing different in this particular race that concerns McGrath and Stanton is McGrath did not get the whole shot, so he has come from slightly off the pace to make some passes. We've not seen him do that this year. Actually, he's not had to because he's been out front.
Big moment right here. Michael Craig leading, tips her over, lost the front wheel right in front of McGrath, who said, as soon as you get out of my way, I'll go on and win this thing.
He said to McGrath over his shoulder, watch me do my laugh-in imitation as he slides down the front word. Just kind of tips her over, nice and easy. McGrath says, I don't know what's going on down there, but traction, dead ahead. I'll use that Kawasaki.
Spinning the wheel, you betcha. So McGrath goes on to win it handily, but remarkably, Craig, after his soil sampling excursion, was able to get up off the dirt and hang on to second spot, holding his neck. He's got a previous injury that was troubling him a bit prior to the race here this evening, but he got that second spot, and that means he's got time to regroup before the main event. Stanton took 3rd from Buell. Let's go trackside with Jeremy McGrath.
Jeremy, from the first race of the year, you've been past these guys and doing away with them right away. Is that a tactic of yours?
Well, Bob, you know, it helps if you get around them right away. You know, when you start following someone, you know, you tend to start following their lines and riding their pace instead of your own pace. And, you know, I was just out there cruising. The track's pretty slick out there, so I'm just kind of taking it smooth and taking it easy and ready for that main.
Let me ask you, are you going to need a whole shot to win the main tonight, Jeremy?
Well, looks like, you know, that would help, but I didn't get such a great start that time. I came out in about 4th or 5th, and I passed right up there, and it was, you know, if Mike wouldn't have made a mistake, maybe it would have been a little bit different, but I think the whole shot would be good, but if not, I think I'd win. Well, good luck. Thanks, boss.
Do I sense the confidence level increasing with every victory for Jeremy McGrath? We'll be right back with more. It's been 4 weeks since the Eastern 125 riders have been in action. Jimmy Button, how does the layoff affect you?
I've had some time to think about, you know, what's happened the first couple races. I know exactly what I have to do. We've had a lot of time off. I think that, you know, maybe some guys might have slacked off on the time that we had off, but it's a little bit, you know, you're not racing the 125 every weekend, so you kind of get out of your rhythm a little bit. So I'm thinking that everyone's going to be in the same situation here this weekend. Everyone's going to try to be getting back into the racing form. I think I'm already there, so I think I have an advantage on everybody, but I just need to go out and ride 110% the whole time.
Button has been riding the 250 class to stay sharp. Teenage Ezra Lusk, 17 years old, has been focusing on this championship and what it's going to take to try to take it away from the man he has been battling all season. That, of course, is Doug Henry of Honda. That Honda-Suzuki rivalry is very intense. The big story, I think, in 125, Larry, is a different winner every week.
Well, 5 different races, 5 different winners, and tonight, if we end up with a different winner, we'll have a 6-pack of winners, Dave.
Well, we'll know soon whether that will happen or not, because the gate is down on the 125 highlights as they charge into turn number 1. Let's see who got away first. First, the 9 guys crashed out here on the outside, but none of them hit the ground, so we'll kind of move on from there and go right to the front, where Chad Peterson from Iowa, one of the kids who's never won one, asserts himself early on.
for Dodge, Iowa, given an opportunity this year to ride for the DGY team, which is the factory 125cc effort from Team Yamaha. He's making the most of it. There's Mike Brown, rider number 54. Downtown Mike Brown is what they call him, and right now he's downtown in second place.
Big battle there with Jimmy Eichel, who was destined to fade into the pack. The real star of the show early was number 25. You heard from him a moment ago. Jimmy Button was charging. Button had a very, very bad race in his last outing, finished dead last. The other man we've talked about is Doug Henry, number 16. He leads Ezra Lusk by a point coming in here after 2-point paying events in the Eastern region, and he moves right up to do battle with Button.
That's the battle for the number 3 position. Button owned it, not anymore. It was taken over by Doug Henry. He's going to pull away, and Henry is not through in the passing department yet. He has one more to go before these highlights are over. Let's turn our attention to number 43, the winner of the opening round of the Eastern Regional Championship. That was in Orlando, Florida. Seems to like this sand. He comes out of Bainbridge, Georgia. That's Ezra Lusk.
Lusk close to home, of course. Bainbridge is right down there on the coast. Mike Brown is next to feel the heat from number 16 as Doug Henry comes charging up alongside, doesn't hesitate, moves right on by. Brown had the opportunity there and elected to let him go.
Surprising, too, that was the battle for the number 2 position. Henry is now in that second spot, and Brown still having his problems. He's in third, not for long. Here comes Jimmy Button. He finds the good lines through that set of rolling double jumps to take over the number 3 position. Let's put Brown in fourth. However, he's not going to stay long there either, Dave.
Ezra Lusk is the man on the move for a slippery racetrack. There's a lot of passing going on here. A lot of guys marching to the front after mediocre starts. Lusk for the moment. Brown looks back over his shoulder. He knows he's ahead, and Ezra is into fourth. Soon catches Button, and that proves to be a pretty good battle between a couple of Suzuki guys. Lusk will take the inside line and move around. That makes him third.
He keeps moving, catches Doug Henry in second. You mentioned a slippery track. Watch this.
Yeah.
Lusk gets it sideways, shoots off the racetrack. He takes a quick look to his left. No one coming. He burst right back onto the scene. Some damage was done, but Ezra came back to catch one more time Doug Henry. But look, he messes up one more time. So Ezra, easily the fastest rider on the racetrack. Also the rider making the most mistakes.
Let the record show the mistake-free night for Chad Peterson gives him his first 125 Supercross victory. 6 races, 6 different winners. Ezra Lusk passed an awful lot of people tonight to end up third.
Unfortunately, passed some of them twice.
Not the night that the youngster from Georgia was looking for. For Peterson, everything he ever dreamed of. The opportunity to take that first checkered flag in front of 30 or 40,000 fans. Take a look at the results as Henry, Lusk, Button, and Brown wrap up the top 5. Down through 10, it's Tony Paggio, Tim Ferry, Davey Yezik, Jimmy Eichel, and Todd Bennick. Let's hear from the winner.
Chad, your first ever Supercross win, you've got to be very happy.
Oh, I'm pumped. So excited.
About your whole shot, about midway, you look a little sloppy, and then you got smoother in the end. Could you feel that on the track?
Yeah, the track got real. The moisture started coming up on the track. I had to change my lines and go more to the outsides of the track where no one was running so I can get some good drive for the triples.
Well, good luck in the future, Chad. You look awful happy.
Thanks a lot.
Well, it's Peterson's battle in terms of the war. Doug Henry fares reasonably well here. The runner-up tonight extends his point lead over Ezra Lusk, and he's standing by with Art Ekman down trackside. Let's hear from tonight's runner-up.
Doug Henry, Chad, got out in front so far that your tremendous charge just wasn't enough to take the lead, but you held on to that points lead.
Yeah, you know, I knew I had to beat Ezra, and that's what I had to do. You know, I wanted to win. It was really slippery out there, and I just didn't want to crash.
Give me an idea now throughout the race. How was your start? How did you get out of it?
I had a real poor start. You know, I was a little slow off the gate, and you know, around the first turn, I just bumping and banging, almost went down. But you know, I worked up to second, I believe. So, you know, that's what we're going to have to take for tonight.
Well, let the record show that Ezra Lusk did win once tonight. He was first to get the cork out of the champagne bottle. We'll be right back with 250 main event action.
He has no mercy. He knows no fear. He feels no no pain. Last year, there was only one thing Jeff Stanton couldn't destroy. His CR.
It's crazy. They love it, but that's why they do it. They're the relentless men and women of sports, doing what most people think is impossible. Max Out, weekdays on ESPN.
The remarkable Jeremy McGrath, winner as a rookie of 3 straight Camel Supercross victories. Art Ekman deals with the question, can the kid hang on?
Veteran observers here in the pits are saying that rookie Jeremy McGrath, even though he's won 3 in a row and leads the points chase, will not win the title. They say they've seen this scenario all too many times, and history will repeat itself.
Well, you know, that's past history, and that's what's happened in the past, but you know, I'm going to do everything in my power to show that that's not going to happen this time, you know. I'm really confident right now, and I'm able to win races, and as long as I'm able to win races, you know, that's not going to happen. Pressure's never really gotten to me any time in the past, and, you know, Honda doesn't put any pressure on me, so, you know, I think history's not going to repeat itself this time.
1990 rookie Jeff Matasevich won 1 race and was leading the points race till late in the season.
Well, in the earlier races, I was just out there having fun, and I was in the points lead up until I think the last 4 events of the Supercross series. McGrath's out there, he's having fun, and he's winning races, and you know, the pressure definitely got to me. Damon admitted last year it got to him, and you know, if McGrath can keep the pressure aside and just go out there and ride and have fun, maybe he can come home with a championship.
Damon Bradshaw knows what McGrath is going through. He set the rookie record for wins with 5 and didn't capture the crown.
While you're winning races and everything's fine and dandy, you know, as long as things are going good, everything's real easy. But really, you don't start really feeling a whole lot of pressure till you start getting down to the end, or either somebody else beats you and starts, you know, picking up some points on you. That's when the pressure starts getting good. But right now, you know, I think he's got a 15-point lead, which is, you know, when I had that 15, or at one time I had a 27-point lead, I didn't consider it a lead. You know, I said I can't never have enough points. You know, I ended up winning 9 races in the year and still didn't win the championship. So, you know, it's time for me to start winning some races. I've only won 1 so far, and I think as far as pressure for Jeremy, I don't think there should be any right now. At the time, there wasn't any on me, but once you get beaten, things start changing, then the pressure starts coming in.
So far, Jeremy McGrath has had the whole shot, has been able to race his race out in front. The real test will be when he has to face the veterans coming up through the pack. It's obvious that McGrath would just as soon keep getting hole shots, but he's preparing for the inevitable. Art Ekman in the Honda pits. Back to Larry and Dave.
Thank you very much, Art. The kid they call Showtime goes to the gate. The last 3 races that he has won from gate to flag, and that is quite an accomplishment for anybody in this league. Now, start time once again, and time to see if Jeremy can pull off a 4th straight hole shot.
I think the crowd, I think that the competitors on the line, and certainly those in the pits that turn the wrenches, are anxious to see not so much if he gets a hole shot, they're anxious to see what happens if he does not get a hole shot, Dave.
Well, as they head for the first turn, let's see who's going to get there first. Stanton is away well, so is Antonez, but it's McGrath with the inside line, and once again, Showtime shows that when the gate drops, he's the one who's got the reactions. Into 3rd goes Mike Kudrowski, 4th is Lamson, 5th is Craig, and Damon Bradshaw is 6th. As the first lap uncorks at Tampa, Stanton is challenged by Kudrowski. McGrath has done it again.
Indeed he has, but he has company. Can he hold on to the number 1 spot? That will be the question. I think the action up front is a little more intense than it was in earlier rounds. I think you're going to see Stanton push just a little bit harder. Oh, and a crash. Somewhere around 6th or 7th spot, that is Buddy Antonez. And Antonez is out of contention. And this is the man we were talking about, Jeremy McGrath. And my question still is, can Stanton, can Kudrowski run him down? And not too far off the pace, we're looking at Damon Bradshaw. He's back in about the number 6 position. So the good ones are up front. Can they catch McGrath?
McGrath has the clear racetrack in front of him. It is a slippery and treacherous racetrack. You see Bradshaw kind of skating around a little bit as the evening has worn on. The track has worn down, and you also heard the mention earlier of the fact that the moisture is starting to come up. Look at Bradshaw pass people. He just drove by Michael Craig and Steve Lamson in the same set of whoop-de-doos. He's charging.
This is what I was alluding to, Dave. We did not see this type of intensity, this type of aggression in the earlier rounds. I think that the veterans now want to win.
Stick around. This is going to get good. We're back at Tampa, where fourth place, Damon Bradshaw, is being chased by a couple of guys that he just smoked off pretty good. Number 21, Steve Lamson, and number 24, Michael Craig. And they in tune have Sean Kalos in tow. This is the best race on the racetrack right now. Craig, determined to lock in another top 5 position, is having at it with Lamson while Bradshaw tries to get away.
Lamson was hired primarily by Honda for the outdoor series, and I think that anything he gets inside of a top 10 finish this first season in Supercross will be a bonus, but he has performed, I think, very, very well, doing an excellent job, as has Michael Craig. He's kind of a surprise to Team Kawasaki.
Lamson crashed in, his second Supercross start last year for Team Suzuki and broke his leg, but came back remarkably quickly and won the first outdoor national after his return. He's a kid with a bright future. Right now, he's doing a pretty good job of holding at bay Michael Craig, who has climbed steadily through the ranks of Supercross results in 1993, and is still looking for that first top 3 finish. Craig goes inside. Oh, and Lamson hit his rear wheel and just about flicked her over backwards, jumps up to see where the traffic is.
I think Lamson wanted to cut to the inside of Craig, and the track got away from him. It was slippery there, and he just couldn't hold the motorcycle in. He tried to climb inside Craig's rear fender, is what he was trying to do, and ended up bottom side up.
On the same straightaway, number 15, Jeremy McGrath, pursued by Jeff Stanton and Mike Kudrowski. And now Damon Bradshaw is reeling in that lead trio, and I believe that this thing is going to get exciting before it is over with. Bradshaw is definitely on the move. He's at the rear wheel of Mike Kudrowski, and this ought to be a pretty interesting battle. It seems the Yamaha and Kawasaki guys have trouble getting along.
The racetrack, if you'll notice, it's shiny in some places. I want to point that out quickly because this is going to be the key to the race tonight. It is it's the throttle control. You have to dial it in just exactly right. Too much, you're going to spin sideways. Not enough, you're going to get past. Now, that battle back there has prompted Jeff Stanton to pick up the pace, and he has started to close slightly on McGrath. This, Dave, is what I think most of the expert observers had predicted, that when Stanton and Bradshaw get ready, they're going to be able to deal with Jeremy McGrath. At least that's the word from their side of the fence. McGrath's side of the fence just says, bring them on. We got time, and we'll take care of them.
Let's see what the message is here from Skip Norfolk as his man continues to lead. 4th race in a row. Attack the track, he says, and that's a good point. Forget the guys behind you. Run your own race.
If he does that like you explained it, then that is the way to go. If you start attacking on this racetrack, though, I'm telling you, you're going to have problems. That racetrack is like glass, like ice in some places.
You think aggression will get him in trouble?
It could very well. He's riding his own race right now, and I don't think if I were his mechanic, I would want him to pick up the pace. However, he's up there making the millions, and you and I are in this broadcast booth not doing near the job, so it's easier here than there.
Guys have won 3 races in a row. Myers is second-guessing them out front and cruising Jeremy McGrath, and we'll be back to see who knows what they're talking about. I will raise a question about Jeremy McGrath. The question, is he the next Damon Bradshaw? He is en route to 4 in a row unless Bradshaw can slither through the traffic or run him down and pass him. And Larry, I don't think it's going to happen. Bradshaw sliding around out there.
Major bobble right there. He hit that slick spot. He was on the gas when he did it. The bike started to whip sideways. Bradshaw recovered quickly. That cost him about a second and a half, though.
Bradshaw was, in fact, closing on McGrath, but when you've got about a 6 or 7 second lead, typically you'll slow down.
Hats off to Damon Bradshaw. He is doing everything right. Now, this was an opportunity for the veterans, I think, at the start of this race to really show this guy that, hey, we've been messing around. It's time for us to charge. Dave, I don't know what to think except that McGrath, look at that. Now, he got into a little bit of a slide right there. Not to interrupt, but he controlled it. He just handled it like a veteran would, and it didn't even bother him. He just got right back on the gas.
grass. I have yet to see anybody in 1993 who is in this kid's league, frankly. For all of their past success, the big stars like Jeff Stanton have simply been no match for Jeremy McGrath in 1993. Here's Michael Craig, who continues to impress. He is in 5th spot and looks like he's going to be able to hang on to that. And we noted last week that he's made steady progress from finishing dead last in the Orlando opener to becoming a consistent front runner.
Well, you're right. He finished last in that first main event in Orlando. The next outing in Houston, he finished 10th. Then he was 8th. He moved all the way up to 4th. Now he's running 5th. He's just amazing. I think Kawasaki got a bargain when they put his name on the line for their newest addition to the Kawasaki factory team.
Talk about a bargain. I'll take this guy. I want my stock in number 15. Thank you very much. And I will cash in week after week after week. Nobody can touch him. McGrath is on cruise control.
There's another cruise ride. Larry Ward has worked to the number 6 position. He likes Florida. His best finish to date was a 7th in the opening round in Orlando. Now running in 6th. Maybe he's turning his season around. Certainly has not lived up to his expectations this year aboard the privateer Suzuki effort, or Suzuki support effort, I should say. In any event, he's doing well here in Tampa.
Well, everybody sets their goal at the beginning of the Supercross season. For most of these guys, the goal for 93 has been to keep Jeremy McGrath in sight. We're back in Tampa. We're in the final lap. The success story continues. Jeremy McGrath is beyond reach. Unless he does something really, really dumb, he's going to win his 4th race.
I tell you what, I don't think that anyone should count on that. He has done nothing but everything right all season long, so he's not going to make a mistake on this last lap. I am so impressed with the way he handled this slippery track. He is just, man, he's just head and shoulders above the rest of the field at this time.
Well, this is the kind of racetrack where you expect experience to be the key. It's the kind of track where youthful exuberance and a heavy throttle handle get you in trouble. And McGrath basically just kept the thing on rails all night. Now he's waving to the fans. He's reminding them that he is number 1 until somebody comes up and takes that honor away from him. Let the record show no rookie has ever won 4 races in a row in this series, and some great rookies have come down the pike, and we got to start thinking about the all-time record of 6 in a row.
Bob Hanna did it. Rick Johnson did it. Jeremy McGrath just did it to the field here in Tampa. He takes the checkered flag. Bradshaw's going to finish 2nd.
It was a relatively close second in the end, primarily because Jeremy was conservative the last few laps, but now it's time to celebrate. One finger aloft. Series point leader and would-be champion Jeremy McGrath claims his 4th consecutive Camel Supercross victory and beats the best in the business in the process. Bradshaw, Kedrowski, and Stanton. Then along with Michael Craig rounding out the top 5. Larry Ward, Sean Kalos, Brooks, Lawrence, and Palmer. Let's go trackside and hear from the winner.
Jeremy, it's looking a little sad for the rest of the crew out there. I'm a little jealous too. Damon, I think, and myself have got 5 in a row, and you're up to 4. That 5th one, you're looking pretty happy.
Well, Bob, you know, the record's there to be beat, you know. That's what records are for. You know, I just got a good start. I really got a bad start in the heat race. And things turned out my way. I just, you know, it's so slick. I was just trying to ride my own race, and things worked out for me.
Everybody says the odds are against you now. They keep piling up against you, but you keep doing it every week. Are you betting on yourself next week?
Oh, I bet on myself for sure. You know, I'm really confident right now, and my starts are there. You know, who's to say? You know, I may not win, but there's a good chance.
That's a great job, and I'm looking forward to seeing you do it one more time.
Thanks, Bob.
Well, there's nothing like 4 wins in a row to pump up your confidence and your point lead. McGrath has an 18-point gap now on Damon Bradshaw, who's standing by with Art Ekman. Let's hear from tonight's runner-up.
Damon, is it depressing to run such a brilliant race and come in 2nd?
Whatever. I just, 2nd place is no good to me.
What about the start? Once again,
wasn't so good. It was better. It was better, but not the best.
And then you made a terrific charge.
Just wasn't good enough.
How could it have been any better? He had such a lead on you.
Should have caught him. No ifs, ands, and buts. No comment.
Thinking about Atlanta already?
No, man. I'm just trying to think about what's going on right now.
Don't I remember somebody asking at the top of the show about the pressure getting to the rookie? I think the pressure's getting to somebody out there.
Let's turn that around. It's the first time this year that Damon Bradshaw or any of the veterans have indicated an unhappiness with the way things have gone. So maybe we're looking at a turning point, although I've said that, what now, 4 weeks in a row? So maybe not, Dave.
Jeremy McGrath whips him again in Tampa. We move on to Atlanta. I'm Dave Despain. For Art Ekman, Bob Hanna, and Larry Myers. See you next week.